Well, no significant rain out there. Our first alert forecast is all about the heat and the building heat. Yes, it's going to get hotter as we finish out the work week. I've got those details and our chance of rain coming up in just a few minutes. It's 4 o'clock. The news starts now.
You're watching WAFF 48 News.
We're on top of breaking news in Morgan County right now. Rescue crews are searching for a 17-year-old girl.
She disappeared after the kayak she was in flipped on the Tennessee River yesterday evening. WAFF 48's Lauren Bell has been on the scene all day and has this update.
Just wanted to give everybody an update. Crews are still out here trying to recover the body of that 17-year-old girl whose kayak flipped yesterday evening. Now we have a boat that's right there behind me. They just came in to get some more supplies and they're going to be back out on the river. Let me show you what we've been seeing all morning and afternoon. Now we have lots of folks obviously that are out here trying to find the body. We had 2 divers that were in the water. They were unsuccessful. They also used sonar to try to find her. And so right now what they're doing is they had a couple dogs that have been going in and out off the water all morning. Here's a video of one of those dogs right there. They actually brought the dogs back about 30 minutes ago, and I do not believe they're going to be sending those out anymore. What they're doing right now is they're taking the boats out and they're doing what they're calling dragging to try to find that body. And we will of course have updates for you on this story at 4:30, 5, and 6. So stay with us and we will let you know as this recovery mission continues.
The search also underway in Florida for a missing father and his 3 children. The captain and his 3 teenagers left Sarasota early Sunday morning en route to Fort Myers. Authorities say the captain called his brother and told him he was in 6-foot seas and he was worried about thunderstorms. That was the last time his brother heard from him. Coast Guard officials say they found some items like tarp, water jugs, shoes, and a basketball about 33 miles offshore.
We immediately contacted the family, the brother, the reporting source, and found out that these items did indeed correlate to his brother's vessel.
Coast Guard officials say the family took the boat to Fort Myers to work on the sailboat, which wasn't in the best condition.
We now know today more about the shooting death of a local teenager. Police say the victim was shot after he was caught taking items from the suspect's truck. And that shooting happened Tuesday morning at the intersection of 10th Avenue and 4th Street in Huntsville. Police say Jonathan Wayne Scott caught 16-year-old Mustafa Bearfield taking items from his truck. They say as Bearfield was running away, Scott shot him. Bearfield died at the scene. Now, Scott is charged with manslaughter. He remains in the Madison County Metro Jail without bond. Police say the case will be presented to a grand jury.
All right, now we don't have any significant rain. The big story is the heat. We'll get to that in a second. But anytime we can get a shower here in this drought, we're going to show it to you. Our million-watt radar, you got to look real close. Let's go ahead and shift gears here and show you a little bit closer down here towards Albertville. This is near Boaz. As we get in close here along Highway 431, you can see a few of those showers, but boy, there's not a whole lot going on out there. This is going to track to the east towards Mountain Borough, so real close there in Boaz. But some of this might actually be drying up as it falls. So it's pretty dry out there, and this will continue to be the case. As I mentioned, the big story today is the heat. Take a look down here near that shower. Albertville, it feels like 102 right now, 100 in Decatur, 101 in Athens. It is going to get worse before it gets better, though. We're going to talk all about the heat in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes. Here's your evening forecast, just hot and muggy with temperatures in the low 90s, feeling more like the mid and upper 90s.
Democratic Congressman John Lewis is leading a sit-in on the House floor.
He's pushing for lawmakers to address gun violence.
We have lost hundreds and thousands of innocent people to gun violence. Tiny little children, babies, students, and teachers, mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, daughters and sons, friends and neighbors. And what has this body done? Mr. Speaker, nothing.
Senators failed to gather enough bipartisan support to pass a series of gun control measures Monday after the mass shooting in Orlando. Senators from each party introduced measures they say would strengthen background checks and prevent suspected terrorists from getting guns. The measures failed. We'll have more on this story today at 4:30.
Rising Medicaid costs are putting Alabama in a funding hole. Today, lawmakers held their last scheduled hearing for the summer to try and find a solution. They also discussed what Medicaid Commissioner Stephanie Azar thinks is the best hope to solve the problem long term. WFF 48 political reporter Michael Downa joins us live from Montgomery. Michael, there may be a solution, but there are issues coming with it.
Yeah, that's right. The state's biggest agency faces an $85 million shortfall. And with Medicaid costs on the rise, some lawmakers think it's time for the state agency to actually live within its means. But that's a problem. See, not providing funding really just doesn't solve the problem, as Medicaid will just come and ask for more money next year. See, the root of the problem is rising Medicaid problems, which have been on the rise for the last couple of years. And the state's best hope to control those costs, at least according to Medicaid Commissioner Stephanie Azar, is transitioning into a system of regional care organizations, which would localize care and change the payout system for Medicaid. But there's a catch. It will actually take money to set those organizations up. And if lawmakers are unable to find more funding this year, well, that transition could go away and the results could create even more issues down the road.
It'd be very disappointing if we don't get the funding to move forward with the RCO program, because so much has been invested to this point. However, if we don't, Medicaid still has a budget crisis. Just to maintain our current program, we still need that $85 million, or services would have to be cut.
Now, more Medicaid funding is unlikely unless lawmakers will return this year for a special session at some point in time. Reporting from Montgomery, I'm Michael Downer for WAFF 48 News Now.
In news from around Alabama, a man has died after a chase and officer-involved shooting. It started when authorities attempted to stop a vehicle at an apartment complex on Highway 280 in Shelby County. Police say the vehicle was stolen and had a switch tag. The driver stopped but started rolling again as the deputy approached the vehicle. Investigators say the deputy then shot the suspect.
We need to make sure that the public knows that we did everything that we should have done the right way. And so there will be a thorough investigation of this. How long that takes, I don't know.
Authorities also recovered a stolen firearm from the vehicle. One deputy suffered minor cuts to his hand. A passenger in the car was taken into custody. A Jefferson County grand jury has indicted the mother of a 1-year-old killed by an 8-year-old boy. The grand jury indicted Katira Lewis on manslaughter charges. A judge initially dismissed the case. Police say Lewis left her daughter alone with 5 other children and no adults while she went clubbing in October of 2015. Investigators say the 8-year-old violently attacked the 1-year-old. She died from severe head trauma and major internal damage.
New at 4, a former U.S. House Speaker is now a federal inmate. Dennis Hastert arrived in a wheelchair to begin a 15-month sentence in a hush money case. That case involved revelations that Hastert sexually abused at least 4 boys when he coached wrestling at an Illinois high school. The federal judge who sentenced Hastert called him a serial child molester. He's now one of the highest U.S. ranking politicians ever sentenced to prison. Former presidential candidate Senator Marco Rubio is seeking another term as senator. Rubio made that announcement this morning. He says he decided to seek re-election after meeting with the family over the weekend of Father's Day weekend. Rubio had come under intense pressure from his own party, who feared that if he didn't run, the GOP could lose its majority in the Senate. The Senate primary is scheduled for late August. Coming up, another gator attack in Florida. We'll tell you what happened.
And a woman survives a falling into a sinkhole, and it happened in her own backyard. That story next.
And we'll check back in with Brad for an update on our hot forecast.